and welcome to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar. In this video we'll be sharing some quick-fire quotes on the character Eric from An Inspector Calls. But first, let's just remind ourselves of who he is and what he stands for across the play. So, Eric is the son of Mr. and Mrs. Burling and the brother to Sheila. Across the play he is sympathetic towards the working class. Eric asks his father, why shouldn't they ask for higher wages? Eric also gets Eva Smith pregnant. He steals money from his father to help Eva. He risks his father's reputation by stealing the money. And he feels guilty about Eva's death. The overriding thing we notice with Eric also is his drinking problem. The stage directions at the start of Act 1 reveal a lot about Eric. Priestley writes, in his early 20s, not quite at ease, half shy, half assertive. The initial reaction we get from Priestley here is that Eric lacks confidence. The repetition of half shows how indecisive he is, and maybe that he's full of insecurities. In part that's because being half shy suggests that you're maybe quite pensive and overly reflective, and if you're half assertive, well, that sounds almost aggressive in your approach to interaction with others. It's as if he's not fully grown as the man in his early 20s. It's as if he's not quite sure who he should be. In Act 2, Sheila says to her mother that Eric has been drinking too much for the last 2 years. Now here, Priestley accentuates Eric's struggle with his life through his alcohol abuse. It's almost as if drinking is a way to escape from his problems. I think Priestley allows Sheila to share her concerns via the language too much. But also, the alcohol dependency suggests he's struggling with issues, maybe about how to be the child of a wealthy family. It's a clue to the audience, though. He's not at peace with who he is and what he's meant to stand for by being the son of Mr. Burling. In Act 3, Eric reveals his relationship with Daisy, and he says, I wasn't in love with her or anything, but I liked her. She was pretty. At this precise moment in Act 3, Priestley portrays Eric as lacking emotional depth. All the questions we might have had about him in Act 1 through that stage direction about being in his early 20s, maybe not being a man, are affirmed. I think we also question his superficial approach as an audience. He describes her as pretty. The fact he says he liked her but he wasn't in love makes Eric seem quite self-indulgent here. It's almost as if he presumed she would have loved him anyway. Perhaps Priestley's saying to us, Eric wasn't ready to love because he wasn't ready for another person to need him. In Act 3, to his family, there is a huge turning point. He says, and I say that the girl's dead and we all helped to kill her, and that's what matters. Here, Eric has shown remorse, the brutal language, showing raw reality. The girl's dead. There's no euphemism here. He's keeping it incredibly real with his family. The inclusive pronoun we makes it clear everyone is responsible. He inculcates the whole family that's on the stage. The verb helped makes it clear he feels absolutely responsible, and that more than anything, they all should too. And that's what matters. That ending to that quote is quite a sobering truth of his actions and theirs. It also makes him feel, to the audience anyway, as a maturing adult. The most overriding thing that we notice across the play is that Eric, a symbol of the younger generation, has transformed and is full of compassion. And Priestley proves this to us through that quote and the end of our play. It's the disappointment that Eric has for other characters, the older generation and Gerald, that can't manage it. Why not subscribe to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar?